Mauritius Telecom, MTEL, and MTN. Can I ask the Honourable Deputy Prime Minister whether any conclusive and binding agreement have been signed with these service providers prior to the board of CEB investing so much, the amount that you have just said, in this company?
Well, a consultant was appointed for a business proposal that is I-date. I've referred to it in previous replies, and they referred to the discussion which they've had. I know that CEB FibreNet is entertaining discussions with whatever clients, and time will tell.
No conclusive agreement have been signed so far with the main potential clients?
None.
Okay. Can I ask the Honourable Deputy Prime Minister, again, not for Rodrigues, this time for the island of Mauritius, what sense does it make to penetrate this market, whereby the players, they already own their own fibre rollouts and high-speed backhaul links in this country? For a new entrant in the ICT domain, will it not face challenges going forward?
All challenges are up for the taking. We are in a world which is ever-changing. I don't want to be nasty, but between 2005, you were closely involved. Between 2005 to 2014, this cable was lying idle. We had to make good use of it. It had been made in 2000, 2003. I mean, these are the facts, and we must capitalize it. We've got to make best use of that cable, and that is the whole purpose. So now what do? There is a tabagie in the street, so I don't open my tabagie because there is already one tabagie in the street. Markets develop, and
so we are not talking about a tabagie here. We are talking about CEB FibreNet, which has invested nearly ₹500 million so far with all expenses. Can I ask the Honourable Deputy Prime Minister whether the CEB FibreNet Limited, as at today, is still a going concern?
As what?
Is it still a going concern? Is it a company that will exist still in the foreseeable future?
Of course.
Next question.
Thank you. B688.
Madam Speaker, with your permission, I will reply to this parliamentary question. Madam Speaker, the issue of rough sleeping is a complex one. It comprises of multifaceted issues such as mental health, alcoholism, substance issues, and family-associated problems. In addition, it is also important to note that many of these people are living at a different phase of their life and therefore very often refuse assistance. At times, they are even happy with their homeless lifestyle and refuse to be enrolled in the various rehabilitation programs available. Therefore, all the authorities concerned, service providers and NGOs should work together to provide rough sleepers with accompaniment, advice, accommodations, and referral to appropriate services. Madam Speaker, I'm informed that in Rodrigues, the problem of homelessness and rough sleeping is inexistent. In Mauritius, all rough sleepers are referred to different NGOs that caters for the homeless. These NGOs provide rehabilitation services, economic empowerment, and social reintegration of homeless, male and female, in the mainstream society. For the information of the House, the National Empowerment Foundation, which operates under the aegis of my ministry, has signed an MOU with the NGO, Association pour Personnes en Larmes, APEL, for the running and management of a night shelter and day care center called the ARC Center, which is located at Abattoir Street, Rosebois. This center can accommodate 16 homeless adults for rehabilitation and social reinsertion within a 6-month life transformation program. Moreover, the National CSR Foundation also funds NGOs that caters for the rough sleepers and the homeless. I'm informed that since 2017 to date, the National CSR Foundation has disbursed around 9,655,300 rupees to such organizations. Madam Speaker, I'm also informed that there are around 25 other organizations that provide residential care services, temporary shelter and halfway homes to ex-alcoholic, ex-detainees, women in distress, and elderly persons, including those who are in situation of homelessness. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. As you have stated, most of them are people from mental illnesses and very few help. So my question, I want to know, what is your ministry doing to help those people when we have harsh weather conditions like cyclones or winter, severe winter?
Madam Speaker, we have a program when there are cyclones, people, the centers are open, but refugee centers are open, and people can go into it when we have disasters. But otherwise, the NGOs who are there, those who are actually homeless, they still go to the same shelters that are offered by the NGOs.
Is your ministry has any figure of any death due to the homelessness due to bad weather? Do you have any figure? Or have you ever?
Some are like sailors who come back home after a campaign fishing 3 months. When they come back,
Can I have the Honourable Minister whether at the level of his ministry, there's a register where all these people are registered?
The House may wish to note that on a biannual basis, the Small Farmers Welfare Fund, which operates under my ministry, carries out a registration of growers of food crops, fruits and flowers, as well as livestock and poultry breeders, among others, in both Mauritius and Rodrigues. According to the last exercise carried out for the year 2017-2018, Mauritius counted 9,060 planters and 1,452 breeders, whilst Rodrigues had 93 planters and 34 breeders registered. It is to be noted that these figures exclude sugarcane planters. The registration for the year 2019-2020 is presently being carried out and is ongoing. The information collected from this exercise, which includes inter alia, location and extent cultivated, the various crops grown, the animals being bred, etc., is used to update the socio-economic database of the whole farming community in Mauritius and Rodrigues. Also, it keeps track of the demographic changes occurring in the farming community, evaluate and assess constraints and new challenges, and come up with appropriate policies and strategies to ensure the sustainability of the agricultural sector as well as our food security. Madam Speaker, in my replies to PQs B368 on 3rd May 2016 and B573 on 9th July 2019, I gave details to the House of the measures recommended in the 2016-2020 strategic plan for the food crop sector, elaborated by my ministry, and the package of support and incentive being given to the farming community to enable it to stay in operation and thus sustain and scale up our agricultural production. I also indicated the impact that these measures have had on our food crop production level, which since last year has been on a rising trend and has reached 118,607 tons last year.
Thank you, Anna. May I ask the Minister, what's the average age of the farmers in the Republic of Mauritius, whether the farmers is sitting with a phenomenon of aging population?
Well, this is a global phenomenon, Madam Speaker, where we see that the farmers is of the aging population, and that is why at the level of my ministry we have been trying to attract young farmers into that sector. So it is true that at the moment the majority of the farmers are from advanced age.
Next question, B690.
Madam Speaker, I am informed by the Commissioner of Police that as from January 2014 to date, 16 cases of stirring up racial hatred have been reported to the police. The yearly breakdown of reported cases is as follows. 2014, 1 case. 2015, 5 cases. 2016, 1 case. 2017, 2 cases. 2018, 4 cases. And January 2019 to date, 3 cases. Regarding parts A and B of the question, I am further informed that 8 persons have been arrested, out of whom 4 have been convicted. As regards the other 4 persons, inquiry is still on.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It was widely reported that on 24th of May 2019, at least 2 complaints were recorded against Honorable Anil Gayan for allegedly stirring up racial hatred. I know from the Honorable Prime Minister whether there has been any arrests in connection with these reported cases to date.
Well, I don't have that information. If the Honorable Minister, the Honorable Member can come with a specific question, I'll get the information, I'll answer it.
She knows about the number of arrests. I just wanted to know, out of the 8 persons arrested, whether that included anyone from government.
Well, I have a long list of people who have been arrested and inquiry been made, but I don't know whether these 2 persons, their names have been included. If you want me to produce all the list, I am prepared to do it.
In answer to a PNQ on 14th of November 2017, the Honourable Prime Minister mentioned that there were 6 cases have been reported against honourable students in relation to alleged acts of stirring up racial hatred. May I know what happened to these 6 cases, reported cases of alleged acts of stirring up racial hatred against honourable students?
Well, all these cases, well, I have answered how many, there have been inquiry, conviction, others, inquiry still on. How can I say?
Next person.
B691.
Madam Speaker, I am informed by the Commissioner of Police that there have been 81 reported cases related to damages to temples, churches, mosques, pagodas, and other places of worship for the period 2014 to date as follows. 2014, 8 cases. 2016, 15 cases. 2016, 11 cases. 2017, 14 cases. 2018, 19 cases. And as from January 2019 to date, 14 cases. Madam Speaker, as regards parts A and B of the question, I am further informed that there have been 16 arrests affected and 7 convictions secured.
In 7 September 2015, following the several temples, Govil, mosques were vandalized in the south, the Right Honourable Minister Mentor, who was then Prime Minister, stated, and I quote, nous sommes un état de droit et la loi sera appliquée dans toute sa rigueur. Les coupables devront aller en prison. I know from the Honourable Prime Minister, he mentioned that there were 4 convictions. Does he have details about anyone being sent in prison for these offences?
Well, what I said was what I believe. But I don't try these people. I don't convict them, and I don't sentence them. So it's for the court I hope the court is going to be very severe in such cases. Had I been a judge or a magistrate, I would have been very, very severe in such matters.
So, at the moment, the punishment is relatively low under Section 185 of the Criminal Code, outrage on religious worship. The maximum penalty is 100,000 rupees and imprisonment for a term not exceeding 2 years. So is the government envisaging coming forward with legislation to toughen the sanction against perpetrators of these outrage to religious worship places?
Well, my whole impression is that the courts in many cases are very lenient. Already what is provided are not being applied. Not be applying it. So making it more severe? Well, one thing we can do, put a minimum and a maximum. Then the court will be bound to put at least the minimum. I'll look into this.
Mr. Mento mentioned 4 convictions. My question was, out of these 4 convictions, do you have the information whether anyone was sent to prison, or does magistrate just impose fine in relation to these convictions?
Well, in one case I see accused sentenced to 6 months imprisonment plus 300 rupees cost. In a second case, accused has been sentenced to 2 years probation. This is very gentle. And 100 rupees cost. Well, in one case I see absolute discharge. So,
stated that he has information about people who are deliberately, and I quote, l'objectif de profaner des lieux de culte en vue de déstabiliser l'harmonie sociale du pays et d'attiser la haine. He said that in many functions. So and lately, at the occasion of the Ugadi festival on 6 April 2019. So I wonder from the Honourable Prime Minister whether he has any information whether the police is inquiring into the statement made by the police to the effect that he has information that there are a group of people in Mauritius trying to destabilize the country by attacking those places of worship?
Well, my own impression is the same, that these are being done purposely. I think why all of a sudden? In the past, there never used to be such cases. Now we have so many cases like this. There must be between communities.
Next question, Honourable Rutin.
B692.
Madam Speaker, I wish to emphasize that ex-MEDA was operating 2 shops, one at Kodo and another one at the airport. However, due to poor sales performance at the Kodo shop, SME Mauritius, at its inception, decided to close it down, that is in May 2018. With regard to part A of the question, I am tabling the requested information. Madam Speaker, I am informed that the ex-MEDA did not compute profit and loss figures for sales effected at its shops. I also wish to inform that over and above the sales figures as provided in the worksheet, SME Mauritius has supplied the Mauritius Duty-Free Paradise Limited handicraft products for an amount of 3,570,060 rupees during the period July 18 to June 2019 for onward sales at its duty-free outlets. With regard to part B of the question, I am informed that 3 cases of malpractices had been reported to SME Mauritius as follows. In the first case, it was alleged that an employee posted at the craft shop at the airport had leaked confidential information, including pictures of handicraft products, terminated. In the second, it relates to an employee posted at the Coromandel warehouse being accused of accepting gifts from an entrepreneur. The internal inquiry revealed that the alleged gifts were in fact handed in as samples and were in fact placed at the warehouse. In that case, even ICAC independently conducted an inquiry, and SME Mauritius has had no further formal correspondence on the matter. I am informed that no disciplinary measure was initiated.
Thank you. Is the Honourable Minister aware, and I think he should, that there has been a sharp decrease in the sales figures at the airport craft shop? And if this is the case, have he tried to inquire from SME Mauritius the reason for this drastic reduction in sales?
There are 2 answers to that. Firstly, as I said in the figure, has occurred at the moment when the hologram was introduced on the products. It was alleged previously that there were products that were not manufactured locally or did not have considerable amount of value addition. Okay, this has created a drop in the sales. because the allocation of hologram to the artisans undergoes very critical tests, and many of them do not pass the test.
Bouncing back on this, the Honourable Minister just stated, and this is what I wanted to hear, that there were allegations that goods which were not manufactured by SMEs in Mauritius were being sold in the aircraft shop. And this is the reason why these sales were not accounted for. So may I know, in the light of this information that the Minister has there been any sanction taken against any shop assistant working in the airport of Mauritius?
As far as we have, SME Mauritius has received information, appropriate inquiries have been conducted, but we cannot pinpoint any artisan or any supplier with that particular problem that have occurred in the past over there.
Has the attention of the Honourable Minister been drawn to the scandal around the missing tourist vouchers? As the Honourable Minister is aware, tourists are supposed to get a 200 rupee rebate whenever they spend 1,000 rupees. But apparently in SM, the airport the sales figure does not tally with the receipt, and the reason for that is missing tourist vouchers.
No, I'm not aware, but I will inquire on that.
Last question. With regard to procurement, has the Honourable Minister's attention been drawn to the fact that there used to be over 300 registered artisans, out of which 125 were regular suppliers of product at airport craft shop, but today the number of artisans selling their product has been reduced to only 40. So is the Honourable Minister aware of this, and if he's not, will he inquire to find out why there has been a drastic reduction in the number of suppliers?
Well, again, firstly, this is a question of hologram, because each and every product which is offered for sale over there carry a hologram. Secondly, there are new entrants. Okay, by virtue of their creativity, aesthetic, and uniqueness, there are new entrants and new products over there, new artisans have come to the market now.
Next question,
B693. Madam Speaker, with your permission, I will answer this question. I've been informed by the police that the number of fatal road accidents for the period April 2018 to December 2018 was 91. And for the period January 2019 to date, the number is 72. It is to be pointed out that the number of fatal road accidents from January 2018 to July 2018 was 87, therefore indicating a reduction of 17% this year. The rate of fatality per 100,000 population for the year 2018 was 11.7 as compared to 12.8 in 2017. Madam Speaker, correspondingly, the number of killed was 143 in 2018 against 157 in the preceding year, 2017. The trend towards this year till now is reducing, and we hope that all our road safety efforts and tightening of the Road Act, Traffic Act will bring even better results in the coming days. Madam Speaker, it is to be highlighted that the road crash is the result of a chain of events which involves multiple factors: driver behavior, vehicle factors, road environment. And from analysis of the road crash statistics, it has been observed that the most common contributory human factor that cause road crashes is the inability of the driver to cope with the road traffic situation due to excessive speeding, wrong perception of risks, particularly among young road users, and drivers not possessing appropriate driving skills and knowledge. The more so, consumption of alcohol and drugs may be considered as one of the leading factors contributing to road crashes in Mauritius. Now, Speaker, the main measures being taken to bring a change in the mindset of road users and address the issue of road accidents are enforcement, over and above the routine enforcement duties by the traffic branch of the police. We have the operations which have been intensified during weekends, where particular attention is given to accident-prone areas. Second, amendments have been made to the Road Traffic Act to provide for stricter penalties for various road traffic offences such as excessive